is Mike Jagger.
All right. Good morning. So my company, I started Provident Security. We're now a full-service security company. We have an office in Kerrisdale in Vancouver, as well as a small office in Whistler. I started the company in '96, so we're coming to our 19th year. I started the business because I didn't have any money. I was using it as a way to pay for my tuition at school. So I had a $500 MasterCard that I got at Langara College, and I used that to buy some shirts and the initial things I needed to put out some security guards. I'd worked for a little bit with the RCMP as a 20-year-old. That's what I thought I wanted to do. I worked as a special constable with the Surrey RCMP. And going through school, I'd worked for an event security company doing concert security. So what had happened was, between those two experiences, I got a call from the head of York House Schools, a private girls' school here. It said they'd had trouble with a security company at their last high school dance, and would I come with some friends that would do the security at the high school dance properly. And so I said sure, I'd do that. And I came and did that dance, and then that went well, and the teachers were happy. And so St. George's called, and then a few other schools called, and it started off just as a way to pay for. I realized that was going to be a way to pay for my tuition, pay for my books, and it was going to be just a small little thing to get me through. And what happened was, it just sort of slowly snowballed, where the special events at the schools led to some opportunities to work for some of the hotels. And from the hotel special events led to being tied in with the Four Seasons. We started very quickly looking after all their VIP security. So anytime they had a rock star come in, or an American executive that had to have a certain level of security, we would handle all of that. So we were sort of transitioned quickly from high school dances to, at the time, Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. And then we moved on to a homeowner. We did a private event in a home, had a store, and on South Granville, and said, hey, you guys are great at this event, and I really hate the securities in my store, and we're getting ripped off constantly by shoplifters. Do you do retail security? So yeah, sure, we can do that. So we started doing security at the store in South Granville, and that led to a few of the other stores in South Granville saying, well, we could use some help as well. And so went door to door in South Granville, said, well, why don't we sign you up if you just pay us a monthly fee, and we'll be available if you ever have a shoplifter or someone that's you're uncomfortable with in the store, or any of these things. We basically were doing like a mall security for an outdoor neighborhood. That led to an opportunity with the Kerrisdale Business Association, another neighborhood that was having a ton of break-ins at night. And there's 250 businesses, and they're averaging 21 break-ins per month. And at the time, this is in November '97, 20 of the businesses had lost their insurance, their burglary protection insurance. So when someone came through and smashed out the glass, that was going to be all on them. So it was businesses at risk of being out of business. So we sort of transitioned into this bicycle patrol thing, and that worked really well. And since the Vancouver Police have been recording statistics of how break-ins have happened, Kerrisdale went from an average of 21 to November '97 was their first zero break-in month, and it sort of carried on from there. So the next 7 years, they actually had fewer break-ins than they used to average in a month in the neighborhood. One of the challenges I had starting out was finding. I was always saying, yes, we'll take on this next opportunity, and we were quickly realizing that we were getting into quite a few different lines of business, and one of my challenges was finding enough people that I could trust to do the work properly. And what that resulted in is, in the Kerrisdale example, was the overnight bike patrol. It's really hard to get someone to work overnight and actually be there and be awake and do what they're supposed to do. So that ended up being me a lot of the time. So I would ride the bike overnight, and then go to class in the morning, and then try to run the business in the afternoon. And the great thing that came out of that is riding the bicycle at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was realizing that we were catching guys breaking in. We were catching guys trying to break in, and catching guys that were breaching their probation by even being out with tools. And no one should be at Kerrisdale, at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're only there to break in if you're cruising the street at that time. But one of the great things about our business now is that because I was the guy at 3 in the morning watching alarms trip, see an alarm go and nothing would happen. We'd see the police come hours later, or these random security companies that would be responding to a burglar alarm literally hours later. So it just seemed insane to me. I didn't know anything about the alarm business. So I said, well, why don't we just go to these businesses and we'll say, you should just call us, and I'll guarantee it, we'll be here within 5 minutes. And so that was really where the whole business kind of shifted away from the event business, and we started providing guaranteed 5-minute response to burglar alarms. So we didn't install the alarms, we strictly responded. So if somebody had ADT or some other giant or otherwise random security company, we would just tell them to call us, and we would go. And that worked really well. So we were able to extend our area a little bit, just commercially. And so we were just charging people $20 a month and then $35 every time we showed up. That extended, so we had more and more businesses calling us. And then what started happening was businesses would say, the alarm would trip, we would get there in 2 or 3 minutes, and then we were able to say, how long did it take you to call us? Because this place has been cleaned out. In a lot of cases, it's been 11, 12, 13 minutes between the time the alarm tripped and the time that alarm company would call us. And so we realized there was a big opportunity to get into the actual alarm business because it's a completely broken, terrible, terrible industry. I couldn't afford to get, because I started the business because I didn't have any money. I still didn't really have enough money to get into the alarm monitoring business, or even the alarm installation business. So what we did is we partnered up, not like a legal partnership, but like worked with a small local alarm company, and that went well for a few years. We were able to package it together to clients, say, hey, you go with these guys for the alarm monitoring, go with us for the alarm response, and this is a great deal. All these things sort of tied together at the end, I think, with all of our legal challenges along the way, because at every single stage we had ridiculous things that happened. But we worked with this other alarm company. They had a partnership that kind of went sideways, and they had big financial troubles, and we ended up deciding that we were going to have to go into business ourselves, so we became an alarm installation company. So then we were doing the alarm installs, and we were responding to alarms, but there was still the middle piece, which is the alarm monitoring, which in our industry is typically contracted out to a third-party company. It takes a lot of money to start an alarm monitoring facility. So eventually we was able to save up, end up investing a little over $1 million into an 1,100 square foot room, like 2001, to build our own monitoring facility where we were going to bring in all of our own alarm signals just for our clients. And at that stage we became we're the only Vancouver-based company that's full service, in that when we install the alarm systems, we monitor the alarm systems, and then when the alarm trips, we guarantee to be at the door within 5 minutes with our own people. So now we have the office in Whistler as well, where that's by far and away that's the unique thing that we do, basically, is by tying all these things together, what we do that nobody else on the planet does is we guarantee when your alarm trips, we'll be at your door within 5 minutes. So we do a whole lot of everything now, because in people's homes, they're integrated systems. So we install an alarm. The alarm system is the system that you tell you're going to bed, or you're leaving, or you're coming home. So that's a system that then we can turn on your lights, or turn them off, or kill the music, or adjust things, or program your outdoor lights to come on at sunset and to turn on. All that sort of stuff's all tied into the security system now. So now we have a number of technicians, a huge team of guards responding to alarms, a pretty big fleet, and a 24-hour teams in both cities. In Vancouver, it's residentially west of Oak Street, so it's a very small section of the city, so we're very, very restrictive. If you're on the east side of Oak Street, we have to say no, we can't guarantee the response time, so we don't provide the service. In Whistler, we do all of Whistler. Over the past 19 years, we've purchased 2 companies and rolled them in as alarm companies, both different types of legal disasters, and had a lot of with just our whole business is about other people's emergencies. And so where we've come to now is, especially with these integrated systems, where now we are responsible for everything in somebody's house. The security cameras are on your home network. So are some of the other devices that we install are all connected to the network. And what happens in a lot of people's homes is they just install stuff, but no one's looking after it. Where we come in, we monitor the whole network, so that if an individual switch or a router goes down, that'll impact lots of other systems in somebody's house. So we actually look after everything. If someone's furnace needs to be cleaned, we program it in advance to send a signal through the security system so that we manage it. when people go out of town, we come by, we pick up papers, water plants, feed cats, walk dogs. We have a full concierge service that's tied in because we hold everyone's keys. We hold about 17,000 keys in Vancouver for individual homes that we have to have a way to make sure we have the right key at the right place within a few minutes. So on the intellectual property side, we've had to look at things that we do that are kind of cool and unique and try to evaluate what's worth it and what's something we could protect and whether it was sort of the right thing for us. On the contract side, having to be very careful on our contracts again, because nobody cares about security until they care about it, and then that's when you can have flooding is the #1 cause of insurance claims. So someone else makes a mistake and screws something up in a house and creates $1 million claim because of the water. The security company, we detect the flooding, and in a proper system we'll detect the flood and kill the water supply coming into the house. But there's a million different ways for in a business where everything's about someone else's challenges to make sure that it's clear. This is what we do, this is what we don't do, here's what your responsibility is as a client, and making it clear and clean in a situation where most people are just like, yeah, how much is it? I don't have time to sign a contract, or I don't, and then every lawyer, or we have many judges that are clients. It's funny, many, they go one way or the other. The judges either just sign the contract and it's good, or they want to spend days going back and forth trying to negotiate. So I'm not a lawyer. So we've had lots of years of experience trying to get salespeople trying to negotiate with a lawyer about how to deal with our contract, knowing that we have to keep our insurance company happy, and being very, very clear that you can't just sort of hope for the best. I don't know, that's a long time, I think. All right. Sorry.
That was good.